line 122 continues this whole understanding of if a heat treatment goes awry, where does the heat go to? Up, down, channel, organ, all of those things. 脉浮, pulse is floating. We know from the previous that means the pernicious is on the surface. 脉浮, pulse floating. 易寒结, this is when it's beneficial to use a sweating method to relieve the pernicious, to relieve it. 用火灸者, should we use fire moxa, if we should use moxa to fire it, to heat it. 血无从出, the pernicious has nowhere to exit. 引火而生, because of the fire, the moxa that we gave, it goes into excess, into efflugiance, I think is the word they like to use in English. 病从腰以下, 逼重而避. The illness from the waist below certainly will be, must be, there's that be character again, will have to have heaviness and suffer from B syndrome. 明火逆也. This is what's called fire ni, or the wrong direction, or what do they call them? Reversal. Fire reversal. Reversal is like the jue ni. Rebellion. Fire rebellion. Fire the wrong direction. It's called huo ni. Just be clear about that. Everything else is just making up words. So here all of a sudden we have pulses floating. We should sweat them. We decide to use moxa to heat them, sweat them. And the pernicious has no way to go out, and it manifests not as bloody nose, it manifests not as scorched bones, it's manifesting that the lower body from the waist and the legs are heavy and suffer from B. 脉浮在表. Pulse is floating, it's at the surface. 易寒结者. It's then when it's beneficial to use sweating to relieve the pernicious through the surface. That's what's being said there. 以火灸祛寒. The doctor, the practitioner, uses fire, using moxa, to create or try to achieve sweating. 而不得寒. But they did not achieve sweating. 血无从出. The pernicious has nowhere to exit. 又加火气相助. On top of this, we've added fire qi to give it greater strength. The pernicious inside's given strength. 自热于身. Thus, the heat is going to go deeply or pervasively. 身半以上, the body half above, 同天之阳, is the same as the yang of the heavens. 身半以下, the body half to below, 同地之阴, is the same as the yin of the earth. 火性炎伤. The nature of fire is that it flames or flagrates, burns upward. There's the double yin, the two fires going up. If we just look at fire, we can see the heat waves going up above the fire. 自摇以下. Thus, from the waist to below, 阴气独治. The yin qi is governing itself, or is by itself, has been separated by itself. 故从摇以下. Thus, from the waist to below, 必重而逼也. There will certainly be, there has to be the heaviness and B. That has to be for us to say they have heaviness and B in the lower body because there is fire. We don't get to say that unless the yin is all piled up from the waist below and there's no yang in the yin. Remember, it is the yang within yin that raises the yin. It is the yin within yang that lowers the yang. It's not in this program, but when we do the tangible acupuncture for internal diseases, one of the major things we talk about is why do the yang channels go from heaven to earth, top to bottom? Why do the yin channels go from earth to heaven? The opposite of their direction. Yin goes down. Why do all the yin channels go up? Yang goes up. Why do all the yang channels go down? And a brief synopsis of what we talk about in depth when acupuncture is the critical treatment method is it is the weight of yin within yang that pulls the yang downwards. And that's why the yang channels often suffer in upwards. And it is the yang within yin that raises the yin up. And without that yang, the yin naturally follows down, which is why we suffer from yin illnesses that go downward. So it is critical to understand that should they separate, you can diagnose depending on what they come in with. This person certainly has yang heat signs above. Certainly, they have to. But that's not what they're showing as their dominant symptom. That's not the symptom that we're looking at and going, oh my goodness. The symptom we're seeing dominant is yin piled below with no life in it, no yang in it. So it's heavy. Yang is movement. Yang is light. And it's B. There's no movement. Yang is movement. Yang is the strength of movement. And so we see a separation, and the dominant symptom isn't bleeding in the nose, isn't any of those things. It's the yin showing up.